Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Priscilla. Thank you so much for being here with me today. On today's video, I wanted to discuss trauma bonding. What does that look like in a relationship? How does that feel like? Why does it happen? Is it trauma bond? Is it love? Like, how do we know the difference? Now, when it comes to trauma bond, people often think that it is just two people that have had some sort of traumatic life experience, and they're both coming together and bonding over that and creating a relationship. But that is not always the case. Most of the time, it is one individual who is abusive to the other one, and one person causes harm, trauma on another individual who becomes attached, therefore creating this bond, this relationship, this dynamic, which makes it really hard to get out of. So why is it so hard to leave these kinds of relationships? Well, it's usually because a sense of normalcy is created. So this whole situation seems very normal to the individual that is being abused because they have experienced that before. The person that is being victimized or the person that is being abused has gone through this before somewhere along in their life. Either a past experience, either a past relationship, somewhere in their childhood, there was a sense of chaos, abuse, mistreatment to the point that it became very normal to them. So to use childhood as an example, because usually this is the most common, whenever you go through certain things in your childhood, whenever you are neglected, abused, your parent could have been narcissistic, could have been abusive, could have been an alcoholic, and you see them treat your other parent in a certain way, or they treat you that way, they treat your siblings that way. Somewhere within the household, there was abuse, there was chaos, and you living in this environment every single day made it something very normal. So let's say your parent is abusive, and this doesn't have to be physically, it could be verbally, it could be emotionally. There's so many different kinds of abuse, but ultimately abuse is abuse. And if someone was not giving you the emotional nourishment that you needed to thrive as a child, that is going to cause some sort of trauma. So if a parent is talking down on you, cursing at you, hitting you, slapping you, being rude to you, or they're doing that to a parent, and then they come back around and they tell you, well, I love you. You know that I love you. You're going to start to correlate that kind of behavior with love. And because you were not able to get that emotional nourishment in childhood, many times in our adult relationships, we want to win over the love of our partner, and only as a way to prove to ourselves that we are lovable, that we are worthy, which is why a lot of people continue to stay in these relationships that can be abusive, where there can be cheating, where there can be disrespect, because that is all that they have experienced. Therefore, they feel deserving of this kind of treatment. Now, you know that you are in a trauma bonded relationship whenever you are being disrespected, being mistreated, being abused, being cheated on, and you start to make excuses for this person's behavior, and you start to justify their actions as a way to continue in the relationship. Now, why would anyone make excuses for someone's behavior just to continue to stay in a relationship that is ultimately not serving them? Well, this is because living a lie is so much sweeter than living in your truth sometimes, because the truth can be painful. And the truth is that this person lacks self-worth, lacks respect in themselves, lacks self-esteem. Because if we were not to lie to ourselves, if we have to be really honest and say this person is doing this, and that to me, then that means I have to take accountability. And that means that I have to take action. And a lot of the times, these people are not ready to take action. Many times, they still have to go through more things in order for them to truly find themselves. And it is very unfortunate, but there's some situations where people don't leave. They spend their whole entire life in these kinds of dynamics. And I can say that my grandparents are one of them. My grandmother dealt with a lot of abuse from my grandfather, who was an abuser and an alcoholic. He had 2 children out of wedlock. And now my grandmother is in her 80s with dementia, completely living out all of that trauma all over again because of this. And I know that sometimes the unknown can seem very scary because you don't know what's going to happen. There's this fear of being alone, a fear of really like truly facing yourself. But for me, I would say that there's actually more fear in living a lie. And living a lie because that's not real. True love is one that is reciprocal, that requires respect, that requires truly being open and safe with each other. But I understand the need to lie to yourself. You know, we lie to ourselves as a way to make ourselves feel normal, as a way to make ourselves feel like, you know what, everything that I'm going through is normal. This is normal. This is just what I have to deal with. This is just what I have to put up with. But it really is not. You're the one that decides what kind of life you want to live. But whenever we are in those kinds of dynamics, we give so much of ourselves to another individual that we no longer know who we are. To the point that we feel that our life is in someone else's hands. We feel like they have control of how my life goes. But the one giving them that control and that power is you. You don't have to live life in this way. Life is so much greater than just being in that kind of relationship. And another reason why these relationships continue is because there is a lack of support. There is a lack of support from friends, from family, because usually this person is going to isolate you to the point where you feel alone, like you have no one. And I get it because I went through something very similar in my life after I lost my mother. I became very attached to my partner at the time, and I went through a lot of abuse for a few years where I completely felt like life was not worth living. And I'm so passionate about this because I want you to know that you are worthy and you are valuable, and your value is not determined on the opinions of other people. You are the one that decides. You have power. But whenever we are giving our power away to another individual, we're going to feel like our life is in their hands. And we're going to settle. Because we have no standards, because we have no sense of worth, because we don't feel like we are deserving enough. And some people will have to go through this. Some people will have to go through this because ultimately, that is a life experience that you need to experience in order to find yourself. In order to start developing your character, in order for you to start knowing your worth and value, some people are going to have to go through these very unfortunate relationships. Because there's nothing, absolutely nothing that anyone can tell someone that is in this kind of trauma bonded relationship that is going to make them leave. You cannot, they're wearing these rose tinted colored glasses. And the only way that they're going to completely see is until they get broken right out of their face because of all of the shit that they've gone through. It's going to take for them to go through a certain amount of things, some more than others, depending on the level of trauma in that, person's life experience. If a person has been through really traumatic things in their life, they might stay longer, because that is really normal to them, versus someone that really didn't experience too many things. They're going to start to question like, I'm kind of tired of this, and I'm kind of tired of going through the same thing over and over, and then they're going to leave. But a person that is healthy is not going to put up with this kind of behavior, is not going to put up with this kind of treatment. And I know that it is really hard to face the music, but at the end of it all, you have yourself. And there's nothing to fear in being alone, because fearing being alone is really ultimately fearing yourself. And wouldn't you really want to know yourself, like really know yourself deeply? This is the life that you get. And as far as we are here now in this consciousness and in this body, this is the only life that we're going to know here and now. So why would you want to waste that on someone that can never even love themselves? That person is not going to be able to love you because they ultimately do not even love themselves. The first person that is here to love you, to respect you, to value you is yourself. And if you cannot give it to yourself, you cannot give it to other people. You really have to think about like the rest of your life. What do I want my life to look like? And especially if you have children, because many times as parents, we say, I just want better for my children. I wouldn't want my child to be in a relationship like that. I don't want my children to go through these kinds of things. But the thing is, children don't care about what you have to say and what you want. They care about what they experience and what they see. That is what is going to determine their future. So if you want better for your children, then you have to start doing better. Leading by example. Showing them how a woman, how a man is supposed to be treated. Showing them how you treat other human beings. By not putting up with things that are beneath you. By not putting up with things that are dehumanizing. Because if you would not want that for your children, then you shouldn't want it for yourself either. Now, you know I'm going to come to you with a little bit of tough love because that's how I am. But this is something that is very near and dear to my heart because I have completely changed my whole entire life. I speak from experience. I've lost my mother. I've lost my father. I was in a very abusive relationship for many years and it was so hard for me to leave. So I get it. I know how it can be. But whenever you truly start recognizing yourself, you are going to be unstoppable. You're going to be on top of the world. You're going to realize how much value there is in your presence, in your time, in your energy, in your peace. There is so much value in having a peaceful, balanced life with people that truly love you and respect you. People that are here to reciprocate with you, to show you and give you exactly what you are giving them, not just completely just emptying your cup over and over and over for someone that is not pouring back into you. That is going to kill you, literally. You have to get to the point where you realize that you need to love yourself enough to leave these kinds of situations. I love you. And I thank you for being here today and listening to this video. I know sometimes it is not the easiest to watch or the easiest to listen to, but I commend you for being here and I commend you for really trying to seek answers and wanting to create that change in your life. If you are needing extra support or guidance through this time or any time in your life, I am offering one-on-one guidance calls. All my information is going to be in my website and I'm going to put it in the description box below. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in another video.